Yo, I'm still doing that mix, but check it out. In this section, we're gonna do a drum mix. We're gonna take the mix of this whole track, get our drums straight, then we're gonna make sure the levels are right. But first, we're gonna compress the kick and the snare. It's important. You wanna compress that kick and compress the snare drum so they're tight. And the snare's very tight. Now once we're actually through compressing, we wanna get the levels of all our overall other drum sounds. Pan the hi-hat a little bit left, pan the other hi-hat a little bit right, make the shaker go here. Make sure each element is heard in the drum mix. Check this section out. Okay, now I have an EQ here on our mixing board, right here on my Pro Tools control screen. I've got this EQ set up so I can actually just get some sort of look, or rather, excuse me, some sort of sound. It's going to sound great for my kick drum. Now here it's in bypass. I've already set up an EQ I like already to save time. But here we have a high frequency here, which is right here. We've got a high mid, a low mid, and our lows. I'm going to cut back the high frequency by so much. I don't need that many highs on this mix. I'm going to change this a little more bottom maybe here. Move back some levels here for my mid. And what? I can take off, add more highs. See that change the sound? I don't want that. I want a nice solid kick drum. I like that so far. Now next, I'm going to close this screen and bring up a compressor. And what a compressor does, it sort of gets it real tight. I want to compress my sound so that when it hits hard. And so we want to make sure that anything low is going to come up. Anything high is going to be squashed down. So we get it all be one level and make it tight for the kick drum. Now here in this system, I'll show you right here. I'll turn the bypass off. See how low it is there? This is how it actually sounds. Now I've got my compressor threshold hit right here at about 22 dB. I've got my compression ratio at 5:1. That's 5:1 in the ratio setting. 1:1 would be here. See that? But here I want to make it very tight and squash it down. And you can see here, this is showing us how we're compressing it. This is what we call like a soft knee. It's how we're actually compressing that sound. So it gives us some sort of visual idea of what we're doing. I'll move back and see how that little line moves. See that? So here I'm trying to make sure it's real tight. I want to squash a little hard. My attack is here. I'm just going to turn my attack back down. And it releases here. Release the sound. Or releases from the gate. And here's a knee bend. How much bend is going to be in that knee? For more, you need to actually read your plugin manual or read your manuals on compression. Now here I want to add some more power to it. You might be able to hear that. I'm going to make it, I can add a little more gain in audio. I'm trying to make it very tight drum. Keep my 5:1 up. Now I've compressed and EQ'd the kick. Next, we'll work on the snare drum. Okay, I got my kick drum. Doesn't sound too bad. I'll bring my snare drum up now. I want to get a balance between my kick and snare. I'll go back to my computer screen and see how we can affect this snare drum. Okay, let me get a plugin set up for it. Here we got an EQ for the snare. Let me use this one band EQ. I can do this to it. So that changed the sound of it. That's a high pass EQ. I'm going to stop it. I want to get me a 4-band EQ. I choose a 4-band EQ, as you can see right here. I'm going to play the mix. But I'm going to turn off the kick drum. I'll turn the track down. As you can see, I'll press play again. I have the snare drum by itself. I want EQ for a certain sound for my snare drum. I like my snares to pop in a good R&B song, particularly also in hip-hop. I'm add a little bit of highs to it. I know the frequency should be around 10K. I want to actually accentuate that frequency. A little bit of lows off of it, so it snaps. Okay, so a little mid there. Sounds pretty good for me so far. Next, I want to get a compressor. I want to compress my kick and my snare. So now, I'm going to pull this back so you can hear it. So you can see that's without compression. I'm going to add some compression now. I pulled some gain back, add some more gain in, I get my ratio up again, my release just right. And some of these plugins actually have their own factory presets that we can actually use. In a lot of the new softwares, it comes with a factory preset so you get an idea of how you want to actually use it. I'll give it a smack a little bit. See, it's almost peeking out there. As you can see the red appear right here. A little red right there. You don't want it to peak out. You want to keep your levels where you don't get too loud and distort your sound. It's very important not to distort the signal. That sounds pretty good. A little more snap to it. Now I'll bring the kick drum back in. And get some sort of balance. That sounds good to me. Okay, now I stopped it. Next thing I want to do probably is sort of check out my other instrument that are in my drum mix. I'll press play, go to the top of my song, press play, and bring the tracks up. I want to hear these tracks by themselves. I have two different hi-hats going on here. So now I want to sort of pan them, get some flavor to it.